Welcome to Access a Trader, the #1 community for high-level traders to learn valuable trends and strategies, connect with other top traders, and become consistently profitable. Click the link in the description of this video to receive a special offer on our revolutionary PS60 training, access to our daily interactive webinar filled with experienced traders, and so much more. Space is limited, so make sure you don't miss out.
Hey guys, good morning everybody, and welcome to another edition to the AccessATrader.com weekend update show. Hope everybody is doing great. Hope everybody is having a great summer, wonderful weekend, just living life and just trying to be happy. That's the name of the game. All you guys, I want to welcome all our folks who are joining us on this weekend from YouTube, our YouTube channel, our StockTwits followers and our Facebook followers, obviously, and all our folks on Twitter as well. So welcome aboard. So here's what's going on in the market. So really great index bias last week, right? Really incredible index bias. And what's great about index bias, it usually really states how people are willing to bid up prices, okay? If you go back years ago, even going back to the mortgage mess, right? The greatest obstacle we had was the unknown of how some of these financial institutions were going to come out of the whole mortgage fiasco, right? And near death Armageddon. And unfortunately, a lot of them did suffer the death of Armageddon. But the companies that did survive, right? The companies that did survive, the Citibank, the Bank of America's, the Goldman Sachs's of the world, and on and on and on. How are they going to thrive, right? How are they going to thrive? How are they, what is their relevance, right? In the overall global trading environment. I'm not talking about the global macro environment. Obviously, we understand the most important group is the financials, right? Financials and retail that really represents Main Street mental process, because mom and dad don't have $3 to buy, Johnny a Happy Meal, right? What is that saying for the rest of the economy? So retailers, you can make an argument that retail and financials are the most important companies, right, for Main Street America. Again, at the end of the day, if NVIDIA dies tomorrow, nobody cares. But if Goldman Sachs goes under, there might be a lot of ramifications after that. And what's so amazing, if you look at the index strength, right, really look at the index strength throughout the year, and you see, big numbers being posted this week from, all the indexes. You had the NASDAQ rising nearly 2%, big move in the NASDAQ, the S&P 500 gaining 1.5%, and the Dow Jones Industrial is gaining almost 2.5%. These are big numbers. And the reason why I bring that up and why the financials, they're just not participating. They're absolutely not participating. I mean, this is a view of Goldman Sachs, right? This is a view of Goldman Sachs. If you look at, for example, the weekly view of Goldman Sachs, right? I mean, this is going back from February. Goldman has gone from 273 to the two teens, right? To the two teens in the last 5 months, while the indexes are representing incredible strength. JP Morgan as well, right? Look at JP Morgan as well. JP Morgan has gone, from basically, it's almost like a 20% hickey, right? A 20% hickey from top to bottom. Citibank, Citibank as well. I mean, Citibank went from 80 to 60, to the 60s. So it's amazing what the Dow, especially the S&P and the Dow, are doing, considering how much weight these things actually have. And what's amazing is this has been a really strong rally without the financials. So it really does prove, a couple of things, especially if you're new traders, especially if you're watching me the first time around. Number one, we don't need the financials to rally, because people have been, talking about it for months now. Can we have a sustainable rally without the financials? I mean, we're getting our answer. We're absolutely getting our answer. Even last week, when we had that first strong move, think about this, guys. We had that first strong move out of supply. You saw it on stocks like Goldman Sachs and Citi. I'm just using Goldman as an example here. But when you're using a stock like, for example, Goldman Sachs, and it comes out of the range, takes out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days worth of trading, 2 weeks worth of trading, puts up a big move, and then still can't follow through, really does prove that the financials and the old world market of the financials are the leaders. That's done. I mean, that really is done. And the most important part is indexes, and this is what we confirm every single week now, indexes, they don't make up, the successful failure rate of your process. If you look on Friday's session, for example, the Dow was up. The Dow was up aggressively. Really strong week for the Dow, and all the value. I mean, majority of the value of the day came on the short side, right? Came on the short side. The stocks that I was trading, the Teslas, the Netflix of the world, gave tremendous value on the short side. So, indexes are great, right? And we say this all the time. They're great water cooler talk. They're fantastic when it comes to dinner conversation by people who are not active participants in the market. But what we do confirm, right from the bat all the time now, again, stock market is dead. It's just a market full of stocks. And the financials, they don't matter anymore. Obviously, from the global macro scale, they do. But from the point of will they pull down indexes, we really are getting our answers every single week that goes by. I do feel bad for all those investors who are in the financials. Again, for example, this week you had JP Morgan, Citibank, very lackluster mixed earnings. Nothing really there to talk about. I mean, really nothing there to talk about. They didn't even move the needle. There wasn't even any buzz. Did anybody even know? Unless you really follow financial headlines, do you even realize these things are already reported? The companies that do matter for investor sentiment, even if you don't trade them, they're the ones that are getting the attention. The Amazon pre-market run, right? The Amazon pre-earnings run, right? Is it not obvious eventually this thing will see a 2 in front of it? Maybe this quarter, maybe not. We don't know. But again, you can see the difference between really absorption of investor confidence, for example, and sentiment on Amazon versus a Citibank, a JP Morgan, Google as well. You can see that as well. You can see that as well. The one company that is getting sold off into earnings, and they report on Monday, has been Netflix. I mean, it's seen a pretty aggressive 3 days, and this has been a really good trader, obviously both long and the short side. And again, before you turn around, somebody's going to attack me. Are you crazy? Look how strong Netflix is. Strong. Again, I'm not an investor. Of course, it's strong. You don't need a 2-year-old. A 2-year-old can tell you it's strong. Absolutely. We're speaking strictly from the trading aspect of it. And this company, along with the Googles and Amazons and Nvidias and Alibabas, the beta names that I trade, they give you tremendous opportunity. And the most amazing part is if you go back to, I believe it was Thursday session, they got an upgrade in the morning. The stock was very, very strong. And then UBS downgraded them after the close, and the stock got very, very weak, and then really had an aggressive move down on Friday's session. We'll talk about this in a few minutes, but it really is amazing how the difference between sentiment on really good aggressive names can turn very, very quickly. I thought it was a pretty good week. Good ranges. It really is amazing, by the way, that Monday was probably one of the slowest. If you guys remember, it was probably one of the slowest tight-ranged sessions we had. There was absolutely nothing going on. In fact, I think I put on one trade, and that's the discipline, right? That's the absolute discipline that we talk about all the time. Again, you don't trade because the stock market is open. You trade because you're getting value. And if you get no value, again, try sitting there with a 4-9 offsuit and try to play Phil Ivey head to head. Doesn't make a difference what hand he is. He's the casino. You're the player. And again, at the end of the day, the casino always wins. So Monday's session was incredibly just dead, just absolutely dead. I wanted to literally stick a wooden spoon in my eye how boring it was. But I'd rather be I'd rather be solvent and broke. Excuse me. I'd rather be solvent and bored than be very, very aggressive and be broke. So it's very, very important. But how quickly things change, and we say this all the time. The next day is only as good as the next day's starting pitchers. That's the momentum. The next day you had that Trump headline with the 200 billion in Chinese tariffs, the ongoing war, verbal war. So it gave us an opportunity, big gap down, created big ranges to the upside. And from Tuesday on, really gave just tremendous opportunity, really, really good opportunity. Tesla is just an absolute monster. Netflix is a beast. Congratulations to you guys. I know you caught a couple of pretty decent pivots on Friday on Amazon as well. But again, it's all about discipline. And speaking of discipline, I was 100 and just to give an idea of how anything's possible. I was 189 pounds, okay, 2 weeks ago. And, I went to Hershey with my kids. My 20-year moving average was 175 pounds. And I was just been eating so much crap because of the holidays and my kids' birthdays and all that good stuff in the summertime, constant sweets. I blew up to 189 pounds. And, at some point, my wife looked at me and said, "You just look hideous." And in the last 2 weeks, just to give an idea, the point of discipline, how you can do anything if you put mind to it. In the last 2 weeks, I cut out all the sugar, to the exception of coffee. I still need sugar in my coffee. To the exception of coffee, I did cardio every single day that week. I got down to my calorie count to like 1,000 to 1,200 calories. I know it's bad, but it was only strictly to cut down the weight. And I literally lost about 14, 15 pounds in about 2 weeks. And now I'm going to start cycling heavier calories and protein and all that stuff, and weight strength training to build my mass up. But anything's possible. So if you're a professional trader and you're kind of stuck in the mud, or aspiring professional trader and you're kind of stuck in the mud and you're doing the same thing over and over again and you're just not getting results, there's other ways. And again, I'm not saying my way is the highway, but there are so many other ways that you can try to put steaks in the freezer. You have to have the ability to, to take yourself in the mirror, look yourself in the mirror and say, "Look, I'm hideous," right? Just kind of borrow the point. I'm hideous. I'm fat, whatever the case may be. Okay. I need to change my life. I need to trade. I need to trade better. I need to find an alternative way that I can have the discipline enough to say no when I don't have the value in front of me. I need to have the discipline to say, I don't want to trade because the market's open. All this matters, guys. All this matters. And until you look yourself in the mirror and say, I need to make a change, I have to make a change, I want to make a change, you're not going to make that change. You're going to be spinning around that proverbial carousel until you finally get dizzy and get off. And unfortunately, so many traders are just so reluctant, just so reluctant for change because of the fear of the unknown. They would rather continue to eat crap every single day, get absolutely nowhere, complain, and all that good stuff, than make a positive change, or at least a positive step forward that they could really resurrect an aspiring trading career. So again, the kind of moral of the story of that is anything is possible. If a guy like me that loves his sweets, loves his carbs, his pasta and pizza and all that stuff, just finally had enough, and in 2 weeks I dropped, a considerable amount of weight, then anything's possible, especially in the trading world. You just have to find a better way. You just have to find a smarter way to put yourself in a position for longevity. Friday session solid. Friday session solid. Again, just a really quick announcement for all you guys who are joining us via YouTube or StockTwits or Twitter, whatever the case may be, that are not part of our community. We introduced a couple months back the private Twitter feed, which is only $20 a day. Only $20 a month. We did this as an introductory rate. And you guys see how these pivots are. These are, really pretty damn good. Okay, they're pretty damn good. It's just the reality. We will be increasing the price very, very shortly. So if you want to lock in, it's only $1 a day if you really think about it. If you want to lock in this rate, I suggest you do so, because we are we're going to increase the rate 2 or 3 times for the private feed very, very shortly. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about Friday session. Let's talk about the Friday session. Again, everything we put in there, we don't pick and choose. We don't pick and choose which ones we post. This is the feed. This is the private Twitter feed, and these are pivots, the not alerts. Again, unfortunately, social media has absolutely destroyed the difference between an alert and what an actual pivot is. And if you want more information, go on our YouTube channel. I recorded a whole session on the difference between an alert and a pivot. But again, pivots are structural balance. They're where price action, and when I mean price action, I'm not talking about a $2 stock that somebody's buying ahead of 1,000 people. I'm talking about structural balance, that when supply is confirmed or demand is confirmed on a 60-minute channel, usually good things are going to happen. And, let's start the day. So this is pre-market. We talked about Netflix. 407, if it builds below, can flush. This was a really good trade. If you look at the 60-minute channel, and here's the 407 right here. Here's the 407 right here, 407.80. 407.90. I always like the whole number. I usually like to let the pivot go through now. And then kind of try to attack it around the whole number. So once it broke through that 407, I mean, this was just an absolute massacre. Congratulations for you guys who did catch it. Just a really, really aggressive trade, which basically, and for years, I couldn't understand why so many people love short selling. Now it's as comfortable for me as, putting on socks. But years and years, like a decade ago, I was like, oh, well, listen, I'd rather be patient and just trade from the long side. And again, God gave you 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 feet, 2 hands, trade both sides. It's there for you. Again, there's absolutely no reason. And you see it all the time. It takes like an hour for a stock to go 50 cents a dollar. And it takes like a minute and a half for the stock to go down $3, $4. So really, really aggressive move there. Congratulations for you guys who got Netflix. Then Tesla. What else can you say about the stock? Again, I don't care about the whole, what's happening with the company. This is a phenomenal trader, guys. This is I used to debate if this was one of the best two-way trading vehicles. This is the best two-way trading vehicle. Again, this is like the combination of speed and power of your, high-performance sports car. This is just a phenomenal, just an absolute beast of a trader. We'll talk about this. Is from the short side. I caught this trade pretty nicely as well. 312.50, 312. Again, you can see it before the market opens up. If it builds lower, can flush. Look at Tesla, and here's why. And here's that 312 area. Right here. Here's the Here's the 312 area right here. Here's the 312 area right here. And once it broke 312, look what this thing went down to. It went down to 309. This is just an absolute beast of a stock. Congratulations for you guys who caught this as well. Roku, again, not just the short side, but Roku, we talked about this pre-market, 921, 45.88 pre-market high, needs to build there. And if you look at Roku, here's the 48.55 and went right to supply. Once it broke that 48.55 and started building, stock went to 49.69. Big move there. Congratulations, you guys who caught that as well. And here was the kind of the move into supply that I wanted to illustrate. Again, all these lines, and so many people say, well, what do you need all these lines for? Well, yeah, if it wasn't for this line and knowing where to sell, it had a huge reversal after that and actually went red in the day. So you have to know these lines are pretty important. So it's very, very important to have them. Then all of a sudden, right here, 399.50 sneaky area. This is later. This is at 1 o'clock. I put it in the channel. 399 sneaky area. If it builds below and confirms through the whole number, again, the whole continuation of the whole number, can flush, right? Can flush for cash flow. And here was Netflix. Again, here was Netflix. The second entry for Netflix. Here was the sneaky candle right here, 399.50. And when it broke down, right? When it broke down, it just absolutely got hit. Went down all the way down to 395. And I always like to play around and keep things light. And here it is. Netflix, finish him. I know I'm silly, I'm crazy, but that's the reality. That's how strong these pivots really are. And again, Tesla gave a really good flow to the downside. And then later we talked about, hey, Tesla, watch this 1765 big area. It needs a strong build over, and then the channel can go, right? And if you look at Tesla, look what happened towards the end of the day. Right? Look what happened to the end of the day. So here's a channel on Tesla, right? Here's the 76. Here's the 317.65 area, and the stock, really had a nice move. A $2 move into the next supply zone. So again, these pivots are not random. They're not random. Do they work all the time? Of course not. Sometimes they will stall out. But again, the greatest part about watching order flow, we know within the first 2, 3, 4 minutes, if it doesn't reclaim the pivot, both on the long and the short side, a lot of times we're going to use break even as our stop, or max paying 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents, depending on what you're trading. If you overstay your welcome by about a minute, but most of the time they're going to do what they have to do because we're watching the natural order flow and they're building above, and that's very, very important compared to somebody buying a stock and 1,000 people buying it after. Yeah, pretty easy to do. And for me, I just don't understand how, if you're buying stock ahead of everybody, think about the moral aspect of it. How do you justify that as trading? And if you are justifying as trading, how do you not have a 100% win streak, right? How do you not have a 100% hit streak if 1,000 people are coming in? Just, again, food for thought, guys. Again, God bless everybody. I don't wish any ill will on anybody, but please, just for the sake of anybody trading risk, it's a slap in the face. And I've said this again, numerous times. It's a slap in the face. Anybody who trades risk to call what you guys are doing, not you guys, I mean the people who are actually doing this, and call it trading. Just say what you want, just don't call it trading. It's just a big difference. It's just a really, really big difference. Because if you tried that on Amazon, if you tried that on Tesla, I promise you after 3 days you'll be out of business. So again, God bless everybody, but please, social media, try to take the difference, really try to see the difference between risk on, right, and risk off. And one of them is risk off. So just really understand that. But again, unfortunately, a lot of social media traders and new traders have been trading for less than 3 years. They don't know the difference. And unfortunately, they're going to learn. So let's get into this week, up and coming week. Look, I like the market. I like the strength of the market. You can see the cues. Netflix is going to start off. Netflix is going to start off the trading week. The trading earnings for beta. I like the setup on. I like the setup on Netflix for Monday. I like the setup for Netflix on Monday here. You can see broken down in the daily. If it wasn't reporting on Monday, I'd be a lot more aggressive. But here's the bottom of the channel here. Here's the bottom of the channel. I will be watching it on Monday at some point, probably a second entry. For all you guys who are in the live webinar, you obviously know what the second entry is. So I don't want to get caught on a double bottom, especially if they are reporting. They will be aggressive dip buyers at some point in the day, kind of positioning to earnings. But I definitely want to watch it around this bottom channel. If it does start to confirm lower, I will be a seller of the stock just for a scalp, just for a day trade. Because if it gets aggressive, I mean, we saw how aggressive this candle went here. If it loses the bottom of the channel, who knows? There is a potential measure move down to 390, but again, only for a scalp. Again, the last thing I'm betting is Netflix missing the number or hitting the numbers, just basically for cash flow. So keep an eye on that. I like this ADI. I like this ADI. If you look at ADI's chart, you can see here, it really wants to reclaim the supply. Okay, it's gotten rejected here 3 times. If it could just really start reclaiming the supply and starts building above this like 98.75, 99 area, you could get a move to this upper channel here closer to 102. So I'm keeping an eye on ADI. Also, Square looks good. Square looks good as well. You can see here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, a full week of distribution. The top of the channel here is 67.50. The high on Thursday was 67.48. You kind of get the picture. It needs to build over the 67.50 level for a possible move to this upper channel of 69. So keep an eye on that. ULTA, I haven't really traded ULTA a lot. You can see that, nice looking chart here. It's attempting to come out of a channel here. Keep an eye on it. 261.50 build. 261.50, 262, depending how I'm guessing it trades thinner. 900,000 shares traded the whole day, but keep an eye on this thing. Looks pretty decent as well. Con broke out on Friday. This is the highest close of this whole move. It broke the $38 level. I want to watch it, on Monday. If it starts reclaiming Friday's highs of 38.40, 38.50 and building, will definitely interest me as well. Let me see what else I want to talk about. Tesla, we'll talk about in the room on Monday. A couple of smaller cap names looks pretty good. AVEO, for all you guys who trade the smaller cap names, AVEO, it's starting to build a nice little flag here. If it gets above the 3, it could be pretty decent. MCEP as well, another oil, gas, whatever the hell the crap these things are. Looks decent, it looks decent. If it starts building above the $2, you could get a move. Again, the stock does have a tendency to go on a pretty decent multi-day run, so keep an eye on that. For the rest of you guys who are joining us tomorrow at the live webinar, there will be no more links, invitations going out. I included in the nightly email right above the options flow report, the login, the login screen. So there won't be any more invitations going out on the individual day. It'll just be that link, and you can log in every single day there. So guys, have a great remainder of your Sunday. God bless everybody. I'm telling you folks, anything is possible in this world, okay? Anything is possible in this world. As long as you have the heart, the dedication, and the discipline. The discipline is the key, whether it's losing weight, becoming a better parent, becoming a better sibling, becoming a better spouse, or becoming a better trader. Everything in life is hard work and discipline. Nothing is going to come and drop on your lap. You have to, if you want it, you have to go out and get it, and that's the bottom line. Guys, God bless. I love you all, and God's help, I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care, guys.